This is breaking news from RTV6, working for you.
Breaking news from the White House tonight. White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders is leaving. President Trump tweeted this afternoon that after 3.5 years, Sanders is leaving at the end of the month to go home to Arkansas.
Sanders is the longest-serving press secretary in the Trump administration after a series of quick turnovers early in his presidency. The president thanked her for a job well done and said he hopes she runs for governor of Arkansas. Look for more on this breaking news at 6:30 on World News Tonight with David Muir.
A rash of car break-ins has a community in Morgan County on edge. Thieves have been targeting people parked at Pioneer Park in Mooresville.
And a newly installed surveillance system is too little too late for the most recent victims. Tonight, a photographer showed her Derek Thomas the damage to her van and the items missing, which can't easily be replaced.
Photographer Jessica Catter-Henry was all set to take photographs at Pioneer Park on Tuesday, and she took them. A family posing on the covered bridge, a little girl by the creek, but this is a picture she never wanted to see. The window of her van busted out. She and her 3 children were unhappy with the discovery.
Their birth certificates were in my wallet, and all of their personal information was in my wallet. So, I mean, that, and then there was our debit cards, cash, a check. And I come here a lot, so it's pretty upsetting.
Break-in victims take note. There are signs posted that tell you, do not leave valuables in your vehicle. An 11-camera, $50,000 surveillance system is being installed, but it was not operational on Tuesday. This is one of the cameras that is being installed in the parking area.
We already have some stationary cameras up, but unfortunately that didn't happen in one of the areas where a stationary camera was. So we're moving forward, and within the week we should be in good shape on that.
News of the break-ins was all over the Mooresville Facebook chat room. There have been as many as 4 of those crimes in recent days. Police say they are tracing debit card purchases made by the bandits. Jessica's son is still ticked off.
I'm sure they could find something better to do than break into people's windows, go get a job instead of taking other people's money.
No arrests have been made, but the addition of surveillance cameras will hopefully discourage the thieves. In Mooresville, Derek Thomas, RTV6.
A rude awakening for dozens of homeowners facing big potholes in their neighborhood. They've been complaining for years about the problem, which is a safety hazard. RTV6's Paris LaBelle is working for you in the neighborhood where people are facing a bumpy road to fix their problem.
These potholes are more like craters, and it's hard to tell just how deep they really are, especially with the water there right now. But if you lift the cone out, you can see how much of the water goes up the edge of the cone, and residents in this neighborhood are frustrated because they can't even report the potholes in the first place.
Driving into the Greenleah Acres subdivision near South Keystone and East Hannah on the city's south side is a little more than bumpy. Massive potholes, more like craters, have swallowed parts of the road, and sometimes they're impossible to miss. Residents in the neighborhood have called the Mayor's Action Center to report them, and they've even tried using the Request Indy app, but each time they say they can't report them.
I was told, we don't live on a city street. Well, if I don't live on a city street, why do I pay city taxes? And why do they pick up our trash? They'll fill the hose over here on Fetlock, but they won't fill ours. I called the action line again. They don't even have us in their computer.
Why weren't residents able to report them? Coming up at 6, we'll look into the issue and what the city is now doing. For now, on the south side, Paris LaBelle, RTV6.
So what's wrong with this picture? Well, nothing really. Just your typical shot of kids playing in the park in June, but it actually feels like March or April out there. Breezy and cool, definitely jacket weather tonight. So the question is, are we looking for more days like this? Kevin's here with a look at your forecast.
We'll snap out of this quickly.
Good.
That's the good news. The other side of the story today, the wind. We had a 46-mile-per-hour gust. Of course, these are non-thunderstorm winds across central Indiana. We could talk wind chill temperatures if we wanted to, but I don't think we want to. Actual temperatures are cool enough across central Indiana. There's a view looking to the north. Sun comes out, builds some showers, then sun comes back out. We've been in this little cycle here this afternoon. The most widespread shower activity has been to the northeast, Hartford City to Portland, Muncie, and through Marion. We back up a little bit, few showers here coming down I-65. They're moving quickly, may get a quick burst of rain, then it moves on. As far as our wind, 29 mile per hour gust, a little calmer. Last hour was a 43 mile per hour gust. Strongest winds are kind of shifting to the east now. Notice Dayton, Ohio with a 45 mile per hour gust. The wind will still be strong tonight, 20 to 30 miles per hour. Temperatures unacceptably cool for this date in June. 57 in Muncie, 64 in Indy, still shy of 70 in Terre Haute and Bloomington. What's ahead this evening? Temperatures will slowly fall. It's cool now. It will be cool later. The change, decreasing clouds. Showers will come to an end, but it stays breezy.
From Boone County tonight, a man has been charged after police say he broke into a Lebanon home and tried to kidnap a 6-year-old girl. Police say the suspect, Ben Dillon here, actually tipped them off that a little girl was in danger. Dillon allegedly told them a girl was being raped at a nearby apartment. But when police got there, the girl's grandparents told them Dillon had burst into their home while they were sleeping and tried to take the girl. When they confronted Dillon again, they say he threatened to kill them and briefly fought one of the officers. The officer was treated for minor injuries. A woman who escaped from a Marion County Sheriff's deputy earlier this week is back in custody tonight. Officers arrested Brittany Howell just before 1 o'clock this morning as she tried to board a Greyhound bus heading to Ohio. Howell ran away from a deputy Tuesday after she was denied entry to a work release program at Crane House. She has been in jail since May 8th after she was arrested for driving with a suspended license. He's been one of the familiar faces of the Indianapolis Metro Police Department. We've just learned Deputy Chief Chris Bailey is leaving his post for a new job. Bailey has been selected as the next police chief in the city of Asheville, North Carolina. His first day on the job will be July 29th. Bailey has been known as one of the department's leaders when it comes to encouraging community policing and currently oversees IMPD's Criminal Investigations Division. He has been with IMPD for 20 years.
Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb says he's not worried about keeping Indiana pot-free now that 3 of our 4 neighboring states have legalized some form of marijuana. Beginning next year, recreational marijuana will be legal in Illinois. Michigan legalized it for recreational use last year, and Ohio has legalized it for medicinal use. Now, the Indiana State Police will be tasked with patrolling the interstates near Indiana's borders.
We'll continue to do. We got the best state police force in the country. I may be a little biased when I say that, but by every indicator that we measure, they are just that. And they'll continue to do their job, and they'll do it with distinction, regardless of policy changes that I think prematurely have been made in states surrounding us.
Indiana has not taken any serious steps toward legalizing marijuana, either recreationally or medically.
The Shelby County Animal Shelter is putting out a call for help. They need an emergency foster to provide temporary care for a dog that was abused and severely burned last year. Justice was found wandering along a road in November with chemical burns on his face and back and cuts to his tongue. It took weeks of treatment before Justice's rescuers even knew if he would survive. The shelter began accepting adoption applications for Justice last month, but today they posted they're in need of an emergency foster for him as soon as possible. If you can help, contact the shelter right away. The number is 317-392-5127. It's at the bottom of your screen. Again, foster would be temporary and needs to be close to the animal shelter in Shelbyville. They say Justice would also need to be the only dog in the home. His most recent foster mom had another pit bull, and they had a squabble last night.
The next time you get a new Indiana driver's license, it's going to have a totally new look. The Indiana Bureau of Motor Vehicles began rolling out the new designs at select locations in May. They will be available at all BMV locations across the state by mid-July. The new features include black and white laser engraved text and image, a minor specific vertical card format with under 18 and under 21 wording, Indiana focused imagery with a race car for driver's licenses and a cardinal indicator for IDs, easier to find and read personal information, and more durable card construction for a longer lasting tamper resistant card. Another Scotty's Brewhouse has suddenly closed. The Scotty's location in Brownsburg announced today that it was shutting down immediately. The Brownsburg location is the 9th Scotty's to shut down over the last year. A statement from the company says the independent owner of the Brownsburg restaurant made the abrupt decision to close. The company says it will work to find other jobs for the employees impacted by the closing.
Now still ahead on the Now Indy at 5:30 on RTV6, a major road project is just hours away, and it will last a lot longer than usual. What you need to know about upcoming closures.
But first, the reason behind a growing cry for the immediate removal of one of President Trump's top advisors. The latest on a backlash against Kellyanne Conway.
And temperature right now is cool, as you know, 64 degrees. But just wait, we'll wake up tomorrow morning to temperatures in the 40s. That's in Indianapolis. Some outlying areas even cooler.
New details tonight about a string of burglaries in Fishers.
Police now say they are investigating at least 10 break-ins near 116th and Cumberland Road. We told you earlier this week about the break-ins in the middle of the day at the Reveal on Cumberland Apartments. Now, the suspects kicked in the front doors before stealing items. Police say the burglaries happened at several apartment complexes between 106th Street and 116th Streets, and say they all share common features. However, detectives are still working to figure out if they are 100% connected. No arrests have been made at this point.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says there is no doubt Iran is responsible for the tanker attacks in the Gulf of Oman. Pompeo says that conclusion is based on intelligence, the weapons used, and the level of expertise. At least one ship caught fire as U.S. naval forces stationed in the Gulf rushed to help. They evacuated 44 crew members from the two ships.
It's unacceptable for any party to attack commercial shipping. And today's attacks on ships in the Gulf of Oman raise very serious concerns.
If there is something the world cannot afford, is a major confrontation in the Gulf region.
The attacks come at a time of heightened tensions between the United States and Iran. About a month ago, American officials deployed an aircraft carrier to the Middle East, and what the U.S. said was an effort to block possible Iranian attacks against U.S. forces or American interests in that region. The Iranian foreign minister denies his country's involvement in the attack. Secretary Pompeo says the United States will defend its forces and interests. We told you earlier that White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders is leaving the Trump administration.
But there's more big news out of Washington. A federal agency recommends senior White House advisor Kellyanne Conway should be removed from service.
The Office of Special Counsel says Conway repeatedly broke the law by using her position for political activity. ABC's Trevor Ault is in Washington with the latest.
An unprecedented recommendation sent to the president Thursday. The Office of Special Counsel, a federal agency that investigates wrongdoing by government employees, saying White House senior advisor Kellyanne Conway should be removed from service. In that letter to the president, the office says Conway repeatedly violated the Hatch Act, which bans executive employees from using their platform for political activity. The office cites several interviews where they believe Conway broke the law, including this one from 2017 on Fox News, where she discussed the Alabama Senate race.
And Doug Jones in Alabama, folks, don't be fooled. He'll be a vote against tax cuts. He's weak on crime, weak on borders.
Another instance happening just last month when Conway criticized Vice President Joe Biden and Senator Bernie Sanders, both of them Democratic presidential candidates. Conway then dismissed questions that day from reporters that she was violating federal law.
If you're trying to silence me through the Hatch Act, it's not going to work. I'm not trying to silence you. Let me know when the jail sentence starts.
The Office of Special Counsel says Conway's actions erode the principal foundation of our democratic system, the rule of law. But the White House counsel quickly pushing back, saying the report is based on numerous grave legal, factual, and procedural errors, and that Conway's rights to free speech and due process were being violated.
The Office of Special Counsel can make recommendations to the president, but it doesn't have the authority to make him take action. And this afternoon, Kellyanne Conway was alongside the president for a meeting in the cabinet room. Trevor Ault, ABC News, Washington.
The oceans on one of Jupiter's moons might not be so different from the oceans on Earth. NASA released findings that show Europa's oceans contain sodium chloride, more commonly known as table salt. NASA was able to identify the substance by doing a flyby of the moon with Galileo, one of their spacecrafts. They used an infrared spectrometer to identify the moon's surface as salt water covered by a thin layer of ice. The yellow portions of the moon have been identified as areas with an abundance of salt.
Well, KFC is ditching meat for a vegan version of a signature dish the company is rolling out called the Imposter. The plant-based version of the crispy chicken burger sandwich launches in the United Kingdom on June 17th. KFC describes it as a triumph of deception. This comes as the trend of meat-free options sweeps across the fast food industry. Both Burger King and McDonald's have launched similar dishes this year. Our producer called this story in the rundown the KFC sandwich. Sandwich.
Sandwich.
Yeah.
All right.
You know what they were dishing out on Monument Circle today?
Strawberries.
And ice cream and shortcakes.
Yum.
It was quite cool. So the ice cream not melting too quickly. All is cleaned up down on Monument Circle. Take a look right now. The bricks are still red. I always joke that strawberry juice helps keep the bricks red.
It was quite packed down there today, too.
It was a good day. I mean,
it was a good day.
It was dry and comfortable. You weren't sweating as you sat down to enjoy some of the good eats. Off to the north and east. Let's zip toward Muncie. You've got a few showers there. Jay County and Randolph County, Portland to Winchester, some showers. All of that rotating around a departing area of low pressure. Right down I-65, these showers flare up. Quick burst of rain, then they fade away, but you can see all moving to the south and east. There's another spot ready to come into northern Hendricks County. Coolest in the northeast, much cooler than we should be, 56. That's the temperature right now in Wayne County. In Richmond, we should be at 81 this time of year. Temperature in the metro area right at 64. You're wondering about the wind. When will it calm down? It will calm down tonight, but it won't totally relax. We'll still see 20 to 30 mile per hour gusts really over the next 24 hours. The wind does calm a bit as we get to sunset. Say hello to Harley. He's ready to go for a walk no matter what. He's a low-profile vehicle right there. He can cut through the wind efficiently. 61. The temperature at 7 o'clock tonight. Clouds will gradually clear. Thanks to Todd Beasley for sending in the photo. You can send your dog's picture in to kevin.gregory@wrtv.com, and I'll take your furry friend for a walk during my weather forecast. Temperatures in the morning close to a record, and you know what I think. If we're close, we might as well get there. The record was set back in 1955 at 45. Right now we're forecasting a 48-degree temperature in the metro area. During the day tomorrow, lots of sunshine. That's the big change from today. By noon, we've recovered already 20 degrees warmer at 68. We'll settle in the low to mid 70s with cloud cover increasing as we get to the afternoon. There are your temperatures tomorrow. Acceptable with a southwest wind at 20 miles per hour. Let's talk about tomorrow night. Zubilation so often battles weather conditions. Tomorrow night, I think they're going to win. Partly cloudy, low humidity. It will be a breezy evening. Temperatures will hover around 70 as we step into the overnight hours. Clouds increase early Friday, but overnight into Saturday, we have our first reintroduction of showers, maybe some isolated thunderstorms. That's the theme in the weekend. 78 Saturday, 81 on a Sunday. Showers and thunderstorms periodically through that period. 7 a.m., there's some rain, continues through mid-morning, a little break in the afternoon, and then I think becomes more widespread as we get to Saturday night into early Sunday. Here's forecast, 7-day forecast put together. The theme is pretty obvious. After a dry day tomorrow, we get into a daily chance for showers and thunderstorms. Might be wet on Father's Day with a temperature of 81. Still, rain and thunderstorms around on Monday. Heavy rainfall potential. With the humidity coming back up, it'll be that familiar theme. When it rains, it pours.
Perfect.
Great.
Father's Day, I guess, right?
Right.
If he gets an umbrella.
Right.
All right, we will be right back.
Working for you.
You're watching the news at 5 on RTV6. Court TV is bringing you nonstop coverage of some of the most compelling court cases around the country.
RTV6's parent company Scripps now owns the network, and this evening a new theory about a Southern murder mystery and how a father got a child molester's confession. Here's a preview.
Hello to you. I'm Julie Grant at Court TV, and today we are covering a true murder mystery case out of South Carolina. Did Michael Colucci murder his wife, or did she commit suicide? And we're talking about the college cheating scandal that has captured the nation's attention. The first person to plead guilty has been sentenced. John Vandemore, a Stanford coach, a former coach there, will only be spending 1 day behind bars, and it's credit for time served. Also, another case we have on, a case out of Arizona. 27-year-old former teacher Brittany Zamora has pleaded guilty to molesting her 6th grade student, a 13-year-old boy. And Court TV has the recording of a phone call made by the victim's dad to Zamora. This phone call took place shortly before her arrest in March of 2018, and the dad made sure to get her admission on tape. You won't want to miss this. All that and more today on Court TV Live. I'm Julie Grant. Now back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Julie. Now you can stream Court TV live 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at courttv.com.
Hey, tonight's another chance for the Toronto Raptors to take home the NBA championship. They lead the series 3-2 over the Golden State Warriors going into tonight's Game 6. The big question is, will the Warriors be able to force a Game 7? As they go into tonight's game without Kevin Durant after his Achilles injury, the team says they will step up, but they need the fans' help.
I expect our fans to be the loudest they've ever been, especially in the name of Kevin and, you know, bringing his type of spirit he would bring to the fight and the competitiveness. I know our fans will do that because we deserve it, but more importantly, Kevin does.
You can watch Game 6 right here on RTV6 tonight at 9 p.m., followed by the news on RTV6. Coming up all new at 6 o'clock, it's not time for vacation quite yet for some kids in Fishers. They're trying to make school history on the baseball diamond. That's coming up all new tonight at 6.
But first on the Now Indy, a child died under horrific conditions while in his care. Why an Indiana man says he does not deserve the sentence he received. You're watching RTV6. We'll be right back with the Now Indy.